around the topic of cyber that used crowdsourced methods that complement the internal cyber team, at the bank. So it was a series of partnerships with other organizations where they could expand their testing and penetration testing and other things that they were doing to ensure that their systems were secure, and also to more quickly identify any faults that happened. And so it was an organizational kind of change, because previously the capability around cyber was something held very tightly within the organization. With the nature and the pace of change and the ability to bring in crowdsourced expertise that wasn't available 10 years ago, they changed their overall operating model, infrastructure model, and talent model to be able to try to move more agilely and more quickly to get ahead of those types of cyber related threats. So that's one example, but you can take sort of similar things across manufacturing, how they were thinking about using 3D printing to really change the supply chain, for example. Consumer product development, again, harnessing sort of power of the crowd around ideation for new products and testing those and building those through a more iterative prototype-led manner. So a lot of Danny, what we've been doing is just helping, if you will, sort out a little bit of the signal from the noise around digital, and helping organizations figure out where a few of the sort of technological areas they should be exploring and committing to, and then how to build the organizational capabilities around.
To a certain extent, Tom, there's a basic make or buy decision here in terms of developing internal consultants versus getting outsiders as well. How is the consulting, basically, how has digitization, frankly, changed not the companies you consult for, but the field or the industry of consulting itself? Are you going through your own, not just you, but all the other management consulting firms going through a similar kind of digital transformation?
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And I think you're seeing that a number of different ways. So, it's interesting, the consulting business, I mean, certainly I think over the last 15, 20 years has bifurcated. You've got, the big have gotten bigger, and then the middle disappeared, and you've got a number of smaller, more niche players, still very much, active and continuing, right, to pop up. But you have seen this, the split. And, the big players, folks like Deloitte and a number of the competitors, you get the advantages, right, of real, specialization, and then how you knit those sort of areas of specialization, together, along with deep knowledge of particular industries and sectors, right? So that's, been a huge advantage, as well as, the larger firms are making, big technology investments, and of course, scale only helps, on that front. So that's been a big change. But I do think, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later, I mean, our clients have the ability to access talent, down to the individual level now, through much more flexible, types of means than maybe were available in the past. So, you're also, I think, seeing kind of challenges to some of the traditional, we'll go do a project for 3 months or a year, and, at times, individual pieces of work, can be, again, crowdsourced, put to a contractor, type of model, and you are seeing some of the atomization of work as well take place.
Let me push you on that a little bit, both internally, but also for your clients, as companies and indeed management consultancies have gone global. You're dealing with complexities in talent across the world, and how to leverage internal resources in many ways has become harder, but the payoff is also much larger. And then part of the problem is also how data is collected and organized within organizations, or we could even say knowledge more generally. How do you help solve this kind of digital transformation where things are there, but they just haven't been marshaled in a way that creates more effective implementation?
Yeah, so this is around the fragmentation of information, Danny, or the fragmentation of talent?
All of that, with a global spin, of course.
A global spin, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure, we've clearly, really answered that. I mean, it's a problem, it's funny, it's kind of a problem, right, of abundance. We've got reams of data, we've got reams of expertise, so knitting together, the right information at the right time, I mean, that I think remains an absolute challenge. Of course, we're, like everybody else, relying on, different types of internal, communication technologies and automation, I think, to help with that. And I think there's definitely promise around using, those types of methods, to help us sort of, sort data and information and make sure that the right information gets to the right place at the right time. But I have to say, I think we've got a lot of work still to be done on that in large global organizations.
We have a question from Ethan Moore.
Oh, hi, Thomas. Thanks for being with us today.
Hi, Ethan.
Yeah, I'm a UF Law student. I'm actually in Professor Sokol's Law and Entrepreneurship class, and I'm not sure if I want to be a lawyer. I'm very interested in doing management consulting after I graduate, actually, and I come out of the business world. Great topic. And thinking about what you were talking about with the exponential versus the linear kind of growth, one thing that struck me about that last slide is that, you have these predictions from government or, international organizations and things like that. But the industry, the CEOs must be making they must have different data, they must be making different decisions, or they wouldn't be